We're going for a quick break now, but after the break, we've got flamenco maestro Antonio Vargas, who dances his way around the world and worked with some famous directors. We're going to hear his story as he's now dancing to a different beat. Stay tuned to find out more. Flamenco may not be popular here in Singapore, yet a master of the dance style that's native to Spain has decided to sink roots here, and he's even set up a flamenco dance troupe.
His name is Antonio Vargas, who's not only performed his way around the world, but has also worked with renowned directors like John Woo and Baz Luhrmann. Well, he's also in the studio here with us today this morning. Good morning to you, Antonio. Welcome to Primetime Morning.
Thank you.
You started flamenco dance. What got you started with flamenco?
Well, as a kid, my father was a musician, and as a kid, I was put onto the piano. And my father loved the Spanish music, and used to have a lot of people coming to visit him, singers, guitarists. So I'm playing the piano, and I'm hearing this music. I'm seeing these steps, this sound, this rhythm. I was so fascinated, and I thought, that's what I want to do. And then he immigrated to London and put me in a college. And so at college, there was a Spanish lady who used to come at the college to give ballet classes, which I also took, and Spanish. So I thought, wow, this is it. So I enrolled for those classes. And by the time I was 16, she sent me to Spain to do an audition with a very famous lady, and then I went.
But flamenco dancing it's not like other forms of dancing. It's very passionate. The movements are very exaggerated.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a way of life until I got to Spain. Because for the gypsies, it's a way of life. It's a whole tradition, and it's disciplined. Flamenco has aesthetic, it has percussion, and there's the guitar and the singing, which makes a trilogy with the dancer. And it has definitely, you know, formats of structures. And every dance has its own rhythms. It is a bit like an Indian school. There's so many different rhythms and very complex. But I have been able to decipher a way to teach people, and it's never failed so far. I've gone all over the world, everywhere: Germany, England, Spain, America, and I've taught and done workshops. And the system that I use is basically to say, you're in the studio now, you're a dancer.
And not only that, your passion and your work has also given you the opportunity to work with great directors.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, John Woo, in Mission Impossible, so you even started.
Yes, originally I was hired to do the choreography in the opening segment when they're in Seville.
Right.
In the fiesta. And then John Woo said to me, listen, Antonio, he says, where am I going to get someone who speaks English, who dances flamenco, and can choreograph?
So you got yourself a movie role.
So he said to me, I'd like you to come in. Yeah. So they just, no test, no audition, nothing. They just threw the script at me, you know. And the thing is, the script was actually written by the day, because they had no script for 3 months. So a long time they didn't have a script. They started production, and in 6 weeks of production, there still was no script. Just picture-board. So from Mr. Cruz, a very sentimental Mr. Cruz, used to change every day.
Now, you're also in another movie, Strictly Ballroom.
Yes.
By the very title of both movies, they're very different. How different was it working on these two movies?
Well, the other one was an action movie, which I had to tell a story in 3 minutes of these 2 men fighting for this woman. And the other one, Strictly Ballroom, was about this young man who meets a Spanish girl and starts putting these steps in his ballroom dance and gets disqualified and constantly losing his partners. But at the end, really, the performance he does, the final performance, he wins the people's hearts. And I had to teach Paul Mercurio, who was at the time in Sydney Dance Company. And Para, the main actress, she's never danced in her life before. So for about 2.5 months, every day for 4 hours a day, I had them in my studio in Sydney. And I worked with them, and Baz was taking films. And he said, by the way, Antonio, he says, you wouldn't mind playing the father business. I said, what's this? Father business.
They have to pay you more, right?
But how easy is it to pick up flamenco dancing? I mean, you said you've taught them for 2.5 months. Is that all you need to?
Well, filming and dancing on stage, as you know, are 2 different things. You know, a good director can make someone look like a diva or a maestro. But flamenco is like everything else. You have to learn the ABC. You have to learn the footwork technique. You have to learn the posture. And like ballet, it's a slow process. I'm also going to be teaching at SOTA, College of Performing Arts. I've been asked to go on the faculty of teachers there for flamenco. The last time I did it was a very, very successful one, and they're having it again this year. And SOTA is the new one that's opening in the city. And they realize I have the system, I have the syllabus, I also write choreography on paper, so they can take it home and learn it. So it is difficult, but at the end of the day, what you call difficult, some isn't.
That's
some
true,
just fall into it.
You have an expert.
Yes.
Maybe perhaps you can show us a few moves. I mean, I'm really interested to see it.
Also training physically, Pilates, body conditioning.
That's important.
Yeah.
Keep fit and to be in shape.
Correct.
Okay, well, I think we've got music ready to go, and maybe you can just give us a few moments of, samples of flamenco dancing.
Yeah, this is actually quite different. It's a piece from Manuel de Falla's Three-Cornered Hat, and it's an orchestral piece that has a flamenco feel about it, and it has the flamenco movement. So it's come from the Spanish classical school, but it's very, very much flamenco orientated.
I see.
And before we get you to do that, we've got a few more questions. You've also started a dancing troupe here in Singapore.
Correct. This is my partner's idea. After being with me 5 years, and the other girls have been also studying, we selected the best women in Singaporean and Chinese support, and we have formed this company called Sin Fronteras, which means, by the way, without frontiers. It includes a fusion of flamenco with contemporary, with Indian, with all sorts of other dance formats, because Singapore is that. There's so many cultures. And we put on stories, and everyone tells a story through the dance, flamenco dance, theatre.
It's still a relatively new dance concept here in Singapore, right?
Flamenco.
Flamenco, yes. Do you find that the interest is increasing? I mean, is there potential?
It has for the last, especially the last 3 years, where a lot of companies have been coming at the Esplanade, and visiting company, leaving a very good impression. And also in Japan, as you know, for 45 years, flamenco has been a very big thing there. And we get a lot of Japanese people that come here to settle and work, and they've done some kind of dance. So we're having quite a turnout of new Singaporean students. And Daphne's had, for the last 2 years, been teaching. She already has about 30 of her own, which is quite amazing. And then she's also quite an accomplished dancer.
Now, flamenco sounds to us to be such a demanding discipline. So I'm sure you must have told your students, I expect that much commitment from you. What does it take to be a good student?
Well, my teacher, friends, Antonio Marine, lost his leg when he was 24. He had a landing on a nail, rusty nail, and had an amputation. And he had to teach his daughter all the things he knew with one leg and transfer to the other. By the time she was 12, she became his feet. And he just sat there and started showing you the arms and the attitude. And he said to all his students, what I achieved, you must go further. But in order to achieve that, you must not run before you can walk. It's like martial arts. You really have to do everything 100 times until you got it right. And that's how he was.
I mean, not only are the movements very, very deft and also very, what's the word? Flamboyant and strict, but the intensity of how you look at your audience.
It is. Well, martial arts and animal movements are the two very important influences on dance. If you watch animals move, the cat flamenco, the cat walk, you can't hear it, it's just walking on rice paper. So that kind of thing, is very much the energy, is the karma, the energy, you push and pull, you resist, you don't just throw it out.
And you have good control of that.
That's also, yes.
And thank you so much, Antonio, for coming in and talking to us. We're going to get you to show us your moves.
That's what Antonio will be getting ready to show us a sample of what flamenco dancing is all about. It's very energetic, very vibrant, yet subtle and, strong at the same time. Anyway, we've been talking to Antonio Vargas, a master flamenco who has set up home and a dancing troupe here in Singapore.
And, of course, we can't just talk about flamenco dancing without having Antonio to show us what it's all about. Of course, he'll do that for us in just a while.
And also, coming up on the program, we're going to have some more music as well.